Welcome to Global Academia. Here in this podcast, we will help you navigate through the exciting world of higher education. I'm your host, Leila. Today, we are diving into a topic that sparks a lot of discussion and can be a big factor for many students when choosing a university: the Russel Group. You probably heard the name Russel Group, but what exactly does it mean? What does it mean for a student to be a part of this? And more importantly, are there other universities that have their own group? Does that mean the universities that are not in the Russel Group are good or not? Let's check them out. All right, let's see what is the Russel Group. The Russel Group is a self-selected association of 24 public research universities in the UK. Initially, it started in 1994 with only 17 universities, but over time, they added members to the group. The Russel Group exists to represent the interest of its members to government and parliament and focuses on issues related to research, education, and policy. The name Russel Group actually comes from the Hotel Russell in London, where the heads of these universities the first time had their meeting. So it's not some ancient, hallowed institution. It's actually quite modern, and it was created simply to advocate for its members. The main feature of the Russel Group is that they are intensively focusing on research. They're usually the forefront of the global discoveries and innovations, and they receive a significant portion of the UK's research funding. This research-heavy environment is their defining feature. Among the 24 universities that are a member of Russel Group, we can name University College London, London School of Economics, University of Manchester, Edinburgh, Bristol, and Warwick. And these are just a few. Okay, but what does it mean for a student to be a part of these universities? So, as a student, you will be learning from excellent academics who are leading academic figures and who are expert in whatever they're teaching. So basically, they're the expert in that field. And that usually means that whatever that they teach, the content of the courses, are the cutting edge of the knowledge. It is state of the art. Aside from that, the research opportunities that the Russel Group University provide to the students is something else, because they are practically very research focused. So they give a lot of opportunities to their students to do a lot of research. It can be access to state-of-the-art facilities, going through some research projects, or even research-focused modules, for example, for master's or PhD. They are very much supported in these universities. Another point is obviously the employability of the students, because these universities have a lot of reputation. So the students who have been graduated from there are very much highly regarded by both employers in the UK and internationally. Also, considering that you will be learning from the best in a specific field, the alumni and the academic are a great network for the students. Another good point about these universities is the state-of-the-art facilities. Obviously, because they're research focused, they usually have the best facilities and the most updated ones at the universities to do the best research. Research-wise, they have a lot of access to funding. This doesn't necessarily mean that they have funds for individual students, but most of their researchers have grants and fundings for research, which usually that translates into being able to fund the students who are doing research with them, for example, for a master or a PhD degree. And of course, considering all of this, they have a very high competitive entry requirement. Obviously, they are famous, they are one of the best universities in the UK, so becoming a part of these universities will be a huge challenge. This means you would need a higher A-level grades or equivalent qualifications to register at these universities. These are just some of the general characteristics of the Russel Group. While prestige is often associated with the Russel Group, the best university for you will always depend on what course you want to do and the learning style specifically for you and career aspirations. So, all of this said, this doesn't mean that the universities that are not a part of Russel Group are bad. But it is also important to remember that Russel Group is not the only group of universities in the UK. While Russel Group is one of the most famous ones, it doesn't mean that it is the only one. Then let's take a look at other groups of universities. One of these groups is called University Alliance. This group brings together universities that are strong in technical and professional education, and they have a keen interest in science, technology, and design. They usually have strong links with businesses and industries, and their courses are typically designed to meet the industry needs. And if they offer research, it's usually applied research, and they usually offer a high proportion of sandwich degrees, which include a year-long work placement that we talked about this before. Some examples of these universities is Coventry University, Kingston University, and Oxford Brookes University. These are all about innovation and preparing students directly for the world of work. Another group of universities is called Million Plus. They used to be called Campaign for Modern Universities, and they represent universities that often have their roots as polytechnics, which gained university status after 1992. These universities are very much teaching and student experience focused. So what they want to do is to widen their access to higher education and their focus on their teaching quality and student experience. These are the universities that are deeply embedded in their local communities and play a vital role in regional development. To name a few, for example, Bathurst University, London South Bank University, and Sheffield Hallam University are part of Million Plus. Another group is called Guild HE, which is a diverse group of smaller specialist institutions including many arts, music, and drama schools, and some higher education colleges. Their focus is on teaching very specific subjects, and if you want to focus on a close-knit learning environment, Guild HE can be perfect. Places like the Royal Agricultural University or Norwich University of the Arts are members of this group. There are other groups like red brick universities or ancient universities that are not really formal groups, and they refer to specific universities. For example, red brick universities such as Birmingham, Leeds, Liverpool, Manchester, they are also a part of Russel Group, but sometimes they are also considered of red brick universities. And ancient universities, again, not a formal one, but it is for the group of the oldest universities in the UK, like Oxford, Cambridge, and other ones. So, knowing the difference between these universities will help you to understand what you want out of these universities, which universities to choose based on what you want to focus on and based on the course that you want to take. Now, we talked about Russel groups, we mentioned a few other groups, but does that mean if a university is not a part of Russel Group, it's not a good university? This is one of the biggest misunderstood things about the Russel Group. If a university is not a part of this, that does not mean that that university is not good. It is a very common misconception that Russel Group is the best, but that's not true. Let's look at some reasons for why Russel Groups are not always the best. Every group, every university have their different strengths. We talked about this. Some universities who are non-Russel Group university, they may have the best teaching quality, student support or industry links, or they may provide a more vocational and hands-on education that is directly tailored to a very specific career path. For example, the University of Bath is one of the highly ranked institutions for excellent teaching and student satisfaction, but it is not a Russel Group university. Another thing is a specialization and niche excellence that only can be found in specific universities that they might not be a part of the Russel Group. For example, some institutions or universities might have world-leading departments in fields like hospitality, creative arts, nursing, or specific engineering specialisms. Another thing that is a very important point is the student satisfaction. Believe it or not, many non-Russel Group universities constantly score higher in student satisfaction surveys compared to the Russel Group ones. This often comes from the smaller class sizes or more personalized attention and a strong community feel that bigger universities cannot provide. Another point is the employability. Not all the good employabilities are for Russel Group. Actually, many universities are non-Russel Group and they have incredible strong links with employers and businesses, and they offer excellent work placement opportunities to their students. And that means they prepare their students for the workforce. In some sectors, the employer might actually prefer someone who is from a non-Russel Group university because of the practical nature of their training. So, when you want to choose the university, go for the best fit principle. That means the best university for you that best suits your academic interest and your learning style and your career aspirations and your personal preferences. So every choice that you pick, it should be about you. For some people, the research-intensive competitive environment of a Russel Group is perfect. For some people, a university with a stronger vocational focus, more practical assessments, or a more supportive environment would be the perfect choice. So, while the Russel Group universities offer certain advantages, particularly in research-intensive fields and academic prestige, it should never be only factor in your decision. Aside from the label, look what you want, what each university is really offering in terms of course content, teaching methods, student support, and graduate outcomes. Also, it depends whether you want to continue your studies to master and PhD or you just want to immediately go to industry. When you're choosing the university for you, it is important to consider all of these factors. So, to sum it up, the Russel Group is prestigious and they are 24 research-intensive universities in the UK, and they are famous for their academic excellence, cutting-edge research, and strong employability. Being a student there means learning from leading experts, often with the opportunities to engage in high-level research. So if you are not really interested in research, maybe look into other universities. There are so many universities in the UK and they are rich and diverse. Some groups like University Alliance and Million Plus, along with many independent institutions, offer fantastic educational experience with different strengths, which we talked about. For example, professional focus, teaching quality, or niche specializations. So, if a university is not in Russel Group, that does not mean that it's not a good university. Many non-Russel Group universities and institutions are better in student satisfaction, specific subject areas, industry connections, and graduate employability. So, the key here is to look beyond the label and research deeply when you want to choose your university. Don't just go for the prestige of Russel Group. Look for specific course content, support services, campus culture, and graduate outcomes. And most importantly, what is the style of their teaching and would it be suitable for you? Thank you for joining me on the 4th episode of Global Academia. I hope this episode has helped clarify the role of Russel Group and broaden your perspective on the fantastic range of universities in the UK. You can find more episodes of Global Academia wherever you're listening to us, on Spotify and also on Apple Podcast and Castbox. I hope you found it useful and I hope to see you again in our next episode.